What if the loudest voice in your mind does not actually belong to you? Have you ever noticed that there's this voice inside your head that's constantly talking to you from the moment you wake up? So it tells you what to wear, what to eat, whether you've worked hard enough today, whether you should go to the gym. Oh, you've eaten too much. Oh, you shouldn't text that person. Oh, wait, you're being way too much. Oh, you're not being enough. People are not going to notice you. You should actually stay quiet. This is the time that you speak. This voice is literally there all day. Sometimes it encourages you, and sometimes it criticizes you. Sometimes it warns you, and sometimes it makes you do something. And it's so familiar. Do you ever actually stop to question it? Or do you simply assume that that voice is you? Because what if that voice is not actually you? What if this voice belongs to someone else and it's the key to upgrading your whole identity without having to do any crazy routine? I know that sounds strange, but stay with me because I think this changes the way that we understand ourselves. Because one of the things that I've noticed from working with people over the years is that very few of us actually question where this inner voice comes from. We question everything else in our lives, right? We question our relationships, our careers, our decisions, but we don't question the voice that's making those decisions. We simply just trust it. Even if it tells us like you're probably going to fail or you're asking for too much or people are going to leave if you're honest or you're lazy, you're selfish, you're difficult. We actually just assume, like some people assume that that's their intuition, whereas the way this voice speaks to you sometimes, your intuition would never speak to you like that. So where are those sentences coming from? Where is this advice coming from? Because no one is born speaking to themselves like that, right? A newborn baby doesn't look at themselves and think, I'm not good enough, or don't speak right now, or don't cry right now. You actually learn it, not because someone said to you, don't cry. Well, maybe they did, but it's much quieter than that, right? It's the atmosphere that you grew up in, the expectations, the looks, the things that were rewarded, the things that were criticized, the conversations that kept happening around you, and the emotions that filled the house without even realizing it. Because you actually began borrowing ways of seeing yourself and then you swallowed them. At first, these were not even your thoughts, they were someone else's. But you heard them so many times, or you experienced the feeling so many times that eventually they became your own internal narration. It's almost as someone handed you a script for your life. And after reading it enough times, you forgot you were reading. You started believing that you were not the author of your life and that you were just the actor. Now, here's what's really interesting. Imagine growing up with a parent who's constantly worried about you. They are not meaning to be this way, but they've got a voice that says, oh gosh, if I give them too much freedom, something's going to happen to them. So they start speaking this voice to you. Be careful. What if it goes wrong? Don't take the risk. Or perhaps the achievement was celebrated more than just simply being yourself. Maybe some that you had a parent that was really into achievement, right? They had a voice inside themselves that said, you could do better than that, you haven't really done enough. So they transmit this voice to you. And if you swallow these voices, they actually become your inner voice. And even when you have a strong guidance, which is your intuition, which is your connection to something, your spiritual intelligence, your divine intelligence, you override all this and you go with the voice that is most familiar and the voice that is actually installed within you. And this voice is protecting you. This voice is not trying to harm you. It's just a historical story, it's a narrative, and most of the time it's just super outdated. The voice might be installed from your parents or your culture or your society, and it doesn't truly reflect the adult that you've become or where you actually want to go in your life, because that is going to take a different internal guidance. It's going to take a different inner voice. And there's a huge difference, because what protected you at 8 might be limiting you at 48. This voice does not realize that you're a grown up now. Okay, it just keeps repeating the same instructions, the same predictions, the same premonitions over and over again. And this is why people feel stuck. They try and actively do things in their life to improve their situation, but they still feel stuck because the voice can be so loud. And every time they move towards something different, the voice might get louder. It might say, don't, it's not safe. People like us don't do that. Who do you think you are? You're going to get humiliated. And because this voice has been with you for so long, it feels like truth. But familiarity does not make something true. It only makes it familiar. It only makes it this familiar story that you've acted out so far. And I think one of the most freeing moments in a person's life is not actually when the voice disappears, because let's be honest, it probably might not ever disappear, or it might take a long time because this voice has been installed for over years. And the real key here is to stop assuming that this voice deserves to be believed and just pause. And instead of asking, instead of just listening to the voice, ask, well, what do I think? Ask this question: whose voice is this, and what is it leading me to or protecting me from? And this is a really, really powerful question because this question creates space, right? And this is what things like mindfulness gives us. It gives us space. It gives us space to choose, and space to question, and space to respond differently, and space to realize that not every rule that you've been living by was the one that you chose. And perhaps that's where freedom truly begins. It's not by forcing yourself to be someone else. It's by slowly returning to your true voice. Your true voice when no one is expecting anything of you, or the world is not asking you to be somebody else, or you don't have to second guess everything. The voice is a part of you that just knows what to do. And it encourages you in the right direction. And it tells you your truth. It tells you what is for you and what is not for you. So ask yourself, whose voice is this? Because the answer to that is really going to change everything. And if this has made you question how much of your inner voice is actually yours, I think you'll really enjoy my free archetype quiz. It's going to help you discover the survival identity that you've been living from and the hidden patterns that may be quietly shaping your relationships, your decisions, and the way you move through life. And you will find the link in the description below. So much love.